I'm here in Medjugorje and I'm with, what's your name?
Declan is my name.
Where are you from?
I'm from Offaly in Ireland.
In Ireland. And
Yeah.
how often have you been in Medjugorje?
About 25 times, I'd say.
25 times.
times, yeah.
Why do you come back all the time?
I love it.
Why?
I love it because Our Lady's here. And Our Lady teaches me everything I need to know nearly. You know, and she shows me different things, and it's a great peaceful place to be, you know. And sometimes I come here to get spiritually well as well, because sometimes I don't be that well, and then I come here and then Our Lady builds me up spiritually, you know. It's the food, really it's the food for life, is what I get here, you know.
Food for the soul.
Soul and the body and the mind as well, you know.
Yes.
So that is the way it is, you know. I'm a recovered alcoholic, and I come here and I come to all the meetings here, and I get to learn lots of things. I meet new people, and Our Lady teaches me, you know. And the only way I can hold on to what I have is by giving it away. So that's why I come here as well today, meetings and all that.
Exactly.
But I was in one evening. I was in confessions at the front of the church, and I met a Belfast priest, and I was in Battle Forum at the time when I came, and the next day I got confessions off the priest anyway. But the next morning I went into mass, and I was saying to myself, I'm never coming back here again. I'm not coming here again. I'm not coming here again. I'm too tired and I'm more out. And I said, just like that, I said, I was sitting in the middle of the church, and I was looking up at Our Lady in the corner, and I said to Our Lady, if that priest, there was 14 priests at the altar, and I said, if that priest gives me Holy Communion, I'll come back again. And there was 40 priests in the altar, and the next day Holy Communion came. I stood out in the aisle, the middle of the aisle. I brought another little woman with me, put my arm around her and made her stand beside me. And the next thing was, the priest stepped out off the altar, he put his hand out into the chalice, he took out the body of Christ, and I see him with the corner of my eye, just like that, taking out the body of Christ. And the next thing, he came on down for the middle of the church, and he passed everyone on the way down with the body of Christ in his hand, and just stood right in front of me with the body of Christ.
Wow.
And gave it to me. And I just sat back in, and I just didn't know what to do. I was just dumbfounded. And I was back in Medjugorje a month after that again, you know. And little things like that. I was lying in bed there one morning. I was after being given out all day. I was so tired and everything. And myself and the wife was after rushing over. We had two single beds, and she was in one, and I was in the other. And at 5 o'clock in the morning, I woke up. And this is what started to come to me. Declan, you're unique. And I didn't even know how to say unique. I didn't know what unique meant or anything. And the next day I was lying there, and the next thing, I'd say it was God that broke it down for me. He said, Declan, you're unique. You might be unique in the human eye, but in God's eyes, you're unique. And I still said, I was saying to myself before that, you know, I'm a bad person, I'm this and that, and all this, I would carry on. But God broke it down, and he said, Declan, in the human eye, you're not unique, but in God's eyes, He made me. He designed me, and to be only one Declan, no matter what goes on in the world or life after this, there was only one Declan. So in God's eyes, I'm unique. I came from God, I go back to God, and that's what He wants. He wants me to go back to God. No matter what kind of a human being I am, and so long as I'm sorry for all my sins, He'll take me back, do you understand? And that's where I'm going and all that. But lots of good things has happened to me in Medjugorje. I climbed a big mountain one day in Medjugorje, and I said it when I got to the top of the mountain, I'm not coming here, no more am I coming here. I said, Lord, save us, I'm not coming here anymore. And the next day I was giving out, and the next day there was 2 butterflies flying around. And the next day I said, Our Lady real quick, I said, if one of them butterflies lays on my shoulder, I'll come back. And the next thing was, 2 butterflies landed, one on one shoulder, and another butterfly landed on the other shoulder. And I was back in the mud again after that again. But myself and my wife came here, and my brother and his wife came here last year. And their daughter was 38 years of age, and she was trying to have a baby, and she was doing all different things to have this baby. So I said to my brother and his wife and my wife and myself, we said, we'll go to Medjugorje, we'll pray for this girl and see if she have a baby. So we came over here anyway, and I climbed the mountain that day. And the very minute I climbed the mountain, I said, you needn't worry. I said, the baby, she's going to have a baby. And they didn't believe me because they think I'm kind of off my rocker anyway. So the next thing, down out of the mountain, my brother was at the bottom of the mountain, and I said to him, look, your daughter's going to have a baby. And then I went home then. Next morning I go up, and Our Lady showed me a baby in the womb. The next morning before I got out of bed. And she showed me this little baby with a little with a little cord sticking out of the baby. And the next day we went back up the mountain, and I said, we're going to climb the mountain today to thank Our Lady for the baby. So up the mountain anyway, and I said to my wife, and told his wife, that she was going to have a baby. So back down, we came back down the mountain anyway, and I said to the brother, I said, look, you needn't worry. I said, Ashley is the name of the girl, she's going to have a baby. When we came home, she was already 14 days pregnant before we went. But I knew the baby was in the womb because Our Lady was after showing me the baby in the womb that morning before we went to climb the mountain. But Our Lady put the baby in the womb knowing that we were going to climb the mountain for her. So she had her little baby, and everything's going grand. She had a little baby girl at 38 years of age. You know, lots of things happens to me here in Medjugorje that really shows me that God is there, and Our Lady's there, and the angels is there, and the saints is there, and everyone is there, you know. And I meet the loveliest, absolutely. I'm known like a badass out here. Everyone knows me, you know, from everything, you know, and good people out here. And I love them, and I love the lad that's lying on the street, or the woman that's begging in the corner. I love all them people because they're all God's people, and people forgets about them people, you know. And they shouldn't forget about them people because them is human beings as well, and they're God's creatures today. And when I help them, I get more love off of God because God knows, listen, you're the man to help these people and other people that walk by them and disown them and all that. But I don't do them things. I love them and I give them every penny I have in my pocket to tell you the truth. But I have a great life. I owe everything I have to the rooms of Alcoholics Anonymous. I have to say about Alcoholics Anonymous because without Alcoholics Anonymous, I have nothing. I never had that coming in here. I never had a bit of peace in my head. I never had no contentment. I had no happiness or not. But when I found the rooms of Alcoholics Anonymous, I found where I should be. I haven't drank. 26 years a day at a time. I haven't drank. And I'm so grateful. God lifted the obsession to drink. He lifted the obsession to drink. He lifted the craving. He lifted everything. He lifted everything for me to get free. He gave me the rooms of Alcoholics Anonymous. He gave me a 12-step program that I have to follow to the best of my ability. You know, there's no one going to follow it 100%, but that's what they do. You know.
This is so powerful what you're saying, and you said you went to confession here. A lot of people are scared to go to confession. Yeah. What would you tell them? Why not to be scared of confession?
I tell them that the clean soul, clean house, clean the wreckage of the past. And when they clean the wreckage of the past, yesterday's history, tomorrow's a mystery, and today is all we have.
Yes.
So if we clean the shit of yesterday and leave tomorrow alone, tomorrow will come after itself. And whatever way I live today will tell me how I'm going to live tomorrow.
Amen.
So if I don't sin today, and if I run on to God straight away, I'm after sinning, so I have it cleaned up, you know. And if I die today, I'm dying with a clean soul, a fairly clean soul. It's only whatever rubbish I went on with today that I bring into tomorrow, you know. But I try not bring as much as I can into tomorrow because tomorrow is hard enough to live without bringing the rubbish of today, you know, the wreckage of the past. And I had to clean up all the wreckage of the past to get to where I am today, you know. And people would say, Jesus, you had a horrid life. I had a horrid life, and I had done horrid things in my life. But I had to do everything I done, I believe, today, to get to where I am today, you know. I'm going to sit along with you today, tell my story. I could sit here for 2 days and tell you my story. And my story is that unbelievable that people wouldn't believe it. And
what happened?
My story is that unbelievable that people wouldn't believe it.
What happened?
I sure everything happened in my life, and I done everything in my life. I done everything. But you know, when I was going through and trying to clean up the wreckage of the past, it was all I was saying, that's horrid. Listen, I can sit down with a beggar on the road today, and I can talk to him, and I can sit down with a lad with a collar and tie today, and I don't mind who he is, you know. And it makes no difference to me today who people is. I go into the prisons today. Back home, I go into the prisons, I sit down with murderers, I sit down with paedophiles, I sit down with these people, and I don't care. It doesn't make no difference to me what they do. It doesn't make no difference, I don't care.
You're on fire for Christ now.
I'm on fire for the love of God because God has put the love of God into my soul.
When did that happen? How did you feel that love?
I feel that love is because that God gave it to me. You know, I understand. Sure, I hated everything. When I was drinking, I was out there, I hated everything. But God and Our Lady gave me this, and she calmed me down, and she gave me the love. The biggest murderer out there, I love him. I love him because who he is, and he's God's creature, and I don't care after that. Honest to God, the love I have for all the people is outrageous. You know, I just give them everything, but I give them what I have, and the only way I can give what I have is by giving it away. I keep holding on to my own. You know, I hold it on to myself. So it's a mighty life, and I'd advise anybody to come to Medjugorje, just chill out, and no matter who comes to Medjugorje, Our Lady will touch them in some way or other. You know, and definitely Our Lady will touch it. I was down in Fishki's one morning. I was at an apparition down there, for Fishki was giving a talk, and I was giving out shit. Oh, I'm not coming here anymore. And I was all pains and sores and everything. And the next day I looked up like that, and here was Our Lady in the sky. The face of Our Lady was in the sky. As blue sky as that today, and Our Lady's face was in it. And then I looked all around, and I said, "Jeez, I'm raving. Sure, that's not her, I told you, I'm raving." And I looked all around, here she was again, back again, and I said, "Oh, God." And I looked all around again, and the next thing I looked back, and Our Lady was still there. And her face dissolved the same as a cloud. She didn't just come and go. She just dissolved in the same as a cloud, nice and slowly, to say, Declan, I'm here, Declan. And she showed me that she was there, and I knew she was there. And I know every time I'm under pressure and I ask God, she'll show me. I was in adoration one evening, and I said to her, to the man above, I said, Lord, if you're up there, I said, please show me you're there. I said, put one of the candles on the altar. Please put a candle on the altar, show me you're there. And again, I got to leave the hour's adoration. There wasn't one candle lit on the altar. They were all gone out. And one evening, I'll never forget this either. I was in Tullamore, south beside me own, and I used to do lots of adoration. And I was in adoration, and I was after doing a novena to St. Trails of the Little Flower. Mm-hmm. And I asked the man above, I was mad. I said, oh, and I said, will you let one flower fall off of that bouquet of flowers at the back, let it fall to the ground, and I know you're there, I know you're with me, and I know you love me, and all this carry on was going on. And the next thing, during adoration, a man walked in with 2 bouquets of flowers. Yeah. He walked in, took down that one, left it down on the ground, put a brand new one, walked over the other side, took down that one, put it down on the ground, put a brand new one. And I was there, and the next thing I said, God, you didn't just put one flower in the ground, you put 2 bouquets of flowers on the ground for me to show me that you know that you're there and you love me, you know. And this is what it's all about. It's about the love of God, finding God, and showing the human being. I know it's very hard sometimes to show them, the human being, that you love them, because some people doesn't want it, you know, but who does want it, I do show them, and all that carry. I was in the streets in Dublin one day, and I do sit down with the people on the streets in Dublin, and I chat to them and I ask them what's going on, how do they do this. But one particular man, I sat down this day, and I said to him, look, he was a lovely man, and I said, how did you end up in the streets? And he says, Declan, he says, I tell you, I was married. He said he was married. He had a wife, he had 4 kids, he had a lovely home, and he was a school teacher. And he said he ended up getting into drinking, and he lost everything. And I gave him a few quid I had in my pocket. I gave him everything I had in my pocket. And he hugged me, and he kissed me, and he'd done everything. And he said, Declan, he asked me my name, and I said, it's Declan. And he says, Declan, I'll never forget you as long as I live. And I came back here to Medjugorje, and I was sitting outside where we were staying, and I got chatting to this woman, and the next thing is, I know she was crying. And I said to her, look, why are you crying? And she says, I'm crying because everything's gone wrong. And I said, what's gone wrong? And she said, I should have a brother in the streets in Dublin and everything. And she said, everything's gone haywire, she said. And I said, what happened to brother that ended up in the streets? And she said, he was a school teacher. She said he was a school teacher. He had 4 children. He had a lovely house. And she said, his wife died, and he got into drinking, and he lost everything. And 1 month after I'd been talking to the man on the street in Dublin, I was talking to his sister here in Medjugorje. And I could give him peace by talking to him in the streets in Dublin, and I gave the sisters peace by talking to her here in Medjugorje. And that's all because I done the things I done to get to where I am, so I could give it away to other people. He didn't give me a horrid life and a horrid existence to keep it for myself. He gave it to me to give away to other people. So that's where I am today, you know. I have some story to tell, but we haven't time for it all today. And I just, you know, I'm trying to tell young people today, I love young people today, you know, they have to get God into their lives. I do say to people says to me today, why does people commit suicide? People commit suicide, I do say, because the pain of living has to be greater than the pain of dying for them to commit suicide. But because to commit suicide is to have everything's wore out, and there's nothing left. There's no God in their lives, nothing in their lives. There's no one praying for them. Now I'm saying, get God into your lives, and at least if it all goes to hell and everything falls asunder, you have God left there. You've God left there to turn to, and God will lift whatever thing is going on. All he has to do is be asked, because he won't interfere with your free will. And if you ask him, then he can interfere with your free will, and then he can help you, you know. But young people doesn't know that today. Young people needs to be educated on that today. And that's my job today, I think, to educate people, to tell people the love of God especially, you know, and the love of Our Lady. And just go to them, kneel down, be humble and ask them. Don't mind asking them at all, just don't mind saying, God, just come here to me. I need you. Please come to me. And God will come like a shot over good. And so will Our Lady.
And what would you tell people, why come to Medjugorje one time?
Pardon?
Why should people one time come here to Medjugorje?
People should come here just because Our Lady's here. And if they have no faith, they're going to get faith here from Our Lady before they go home. Definitely Our Lady's going to touch. Anybody that comes here with no faith and just comes for a bit of a ramble is the next thing they'll be touched. I came here in 2006 not caring about nothing. I only came to get away. Yeah. And I was up there at the top of the hill, and I was sitting back in it, and never forget, in a stone. I found a chair, the very same as an armchair, myself and my wife and another fella. And we were sitting back, I went back up all the way to the sticks. And the next thing, there was an apparition for Our Lady. And the next thing, I was smoking away, and I didn't give a shit about it. I didn't care about nothing. And the next thing is, just the girl came up, put her knees down, Marina, or whatever her name is, the apparition. She came, she put her knees down on the oak, in front of the statue. And a ball of fire shot up at the side of my head. I landed there at my feet, myself and the wife. And I am telling you, that waking me up. But that was the start of my journey with Our Lady and Medjugorje. She touched me. She touched me with the ball of fire, but she says, I'm here now. I'm here now. And you listen to what I'm going to say. I listened and my wife listened, and I never missed a year coming here since. Sometimes I come here twice, and I'd love to come here. I'd love to come out here to stay for 2 or 3 months. And me all the young people around here, and tell them the love of Our Lady. Sit them in here. I often sat down there with 60 travellers and talking. I sit down with 60 travellers and I tell them all about the love of Our Lady. I tell them about living fairly right, you know, not stealing and robbing and thieving and doing harm to people. And go home out here and start to practice what they're after learning here, you know. Not go be doing different things here and then go home and do different things at home. You know, you have to try and practice what you preach at home and all that. And I'm trying to do all that as well. I'm not the holiest man in the world anyway, but I just do the best I can. And I'm grateful. I'm grateful to be here today. I have to say I'm grateful. And sure, I'm here today because of Our Lady. Our Lady gave me the money to come. I had the 5 pence piece before I came here. And Our Lady, I said to my wife, I said, look, don't worry about it. Our Lady gave us the money if she wants us to come. And she will have plenty of money. Have plenty of money to come here, and that's all we want, you know.
Wow, what can I say? Thank you for that beautiful interview, sir, Declan.